the MCU might have a reboot after Secret Wars. And I know some people have heard of rumors coming out that the MCU might actually do a reboot. I'm going to read an article here that covers all this, covers the rumors and, why it's out there. And then I'll just give you my thoughts on what I think about it. So this one's titled Avengers 6 will soft reboot the MCU and bring back retired characters. Kevin Feige quote backs rumors. It states, the MCU could reboot after Avengers Secret Wars in just 4 years. According to a new quote from Marvel Supremo Kevin Feige, the upcoming Avengers 6 will close out the currently announced slate of upcoming Marvel movies on May 7, 2027. But Feige has also said in a recent interview with Variety that the MCU has barely scratched the surface of the story potential from Marvel Comics. But that potential may come with the soft reboot in the very near future to consolidate the timeline, trimming the fat and most excitingly, bringing back characters who have dropped out of the franchise. Let me know what you guys think about returning characters coming back from the franchise. The ones who have died, basically, like Tony Stark, Iron Man. How would you feel if he would came back? Speaking on the Watch podcast, author of the new Marvel book MCU, The Reign of Marvel Studios, Joanna Robinson, dropped a bombshell that could change the Marvel Cinematic Universe timeline massively. A quote goes on to say, we have a quote from Kevin Feige, sort of implying that, Secret Wars will serve as a reboot in which they can prune everything. Now, that's not to use a Lokiism. They'll prune everything that's not working and just keep what is working. Or bring back people you thought were gone forever. Diving into the MCU, the reign of Marvel Studios for further hints, it's notable that the final chapter titled How Much We Have Left has the following paragraph close to the end, relating a meeting with Feige that concluded with him revealing a poster from 1988 drawn by Ed Hannigan and Joe Rubinstein of hundreds of Marvel characters as an indication of how many new characters could come to the MCU. Another quote says, as the MCU spilled over into streaming programs and the multiverse saga, Feige had to learn different lessons from the comics. How superheroes periodically needed to be rebooted, how to stop variants and spin-offs from spiraling out of control, and how an annual mega crossover event could unify a desperate line of characters. The question of why Marvel would reboot the MCU even softly is a particularly pressing one, given how successful most of the franchise releases have been. But there is a need to consolidate the timeline after Marvel came into possession of the rights to the former Fox Marvel characters, most notably the still missing X-Men and Fantastic Four. And with Marvel TV in such a perceived negative slate that the Disney company is rebooting their entire approach to making new shows. As Robinson says, a soft reboot would allow Marvel to keep the elements that are working and prune what isn't, as well as reintroducing major character brands like Iron Man, T'Challa, Thanos, Steve Rogers, and every other hero and villain who has either been killed off or retired. Yeah, so me personally, I'm a little skeptical when it comes to, the rumor that they're going to be rebooting Marvel as a whole. I don't really know how to feel if Marvel were to reboot this whole storyline that we've gotten for years and years, and now they just kind of brush it away and whatnot, because they're not doing so good with the movies and the shows that are been coming out. But I will say, on the other hand, I do like the idea of them bringing on characters that we miss, such as RDJ as Iron Man, Chris Evans as Cap. I think there's no secret that they've been doing not so good lately, especially with their shows and movies. It just hasn't been the same type of Marvel quality that we were used to seeing before Endgame came out, before Infinity War. All those movies were really good quality, and now they just kind of lost their way in a bit. So I feel like if they do a soft reboot, right, I think it'll be a fresh way to kind of introduce these characters that we haven't seen on the big screen in the MCU. I would say it'll be a nice way to introduce the X-Men. It'll be nice to introduce, Fantastic Four. I mean, as of now, we don't really know exactly how they're going to introduce, all these characters and make it make sense, I guess you could say, because it's kind of like this Eternals thing where they have to make up something as to why they weren't doing anything when, Avengers came out, or, Infinity War. Like, where were the X-Men at? Where was Fantastic Four at when all this was going down? So, they kind of have to make something up, or just something to make it make sense. But I guess in this way, they can reboot it on the same universe they all exist. So it wouldn't necessarily need to in line with the storyline. You could just make it start fresh. Everybody's introducing new characters. The actors who've played their roles can come back, like RDJ and Chris Evans. And honestly, I feel like that would be a nice fresh start if they did that. But obviously, it sucks that, they're basically rebooting this whole storyline that we've, been watching for years and years. Like, stuff that we've, grown up watching. So, I don't know. I'm still kind of skeptical on that, on if I actually like this idea, this plan that they're going with. Who knows? Maybe they're not even going to go with it because, this is just like a rumor. And, it sucks that it's come to this point because, Marvel has been good for so many years. And, the recent years, they just been going downhill. It's a big thing with Marvel right now is that, I know it's all business, but it seems like they're worried more about the business aspect of it, the money making aspect of it, instead of actually telling the story. And the reason why I say that is because over the years, they've been making more content, which is really cool, but it feels like they're focusing more on quantity over quality. And especially with all these shows, and some of these shows, they've been giving us some content that we never really asked for. There's just some that was never really good. For one, She-Hulk wasn't really good. These are like forgettable shows, right? And if they just had focused on, I don't know, maybe making a movie about somebody else or just something, they could have gotten the right track. But, that's just the way Marvel has been going on from now. Ever since, I would say, after Endgame for sure. With the exception of Spider-Man No Way Home. I thought that movie was really good. But, yeah. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you guys agree with, this soft reboot. Or you think they should just make a full reboot and just start fresh. Let me know if you guys think that sounds good. Or if you think they're being a little, cheesy just by rebooting everything just because everything's not working, the way they wanted it to, and everything's not, they're not appealing to fans as much as they wanted it to. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. That would really help me out. And it's been Jeremy, and I'll see you guys in the next video.